Okay. I think listening is the easiest. Why? Because we can listen many English songs that we can choose from. Starting from that. Okay, let's continue. So in listening and reading test, there are two sections. The first one is listening and the second is reading. Both of them consist 10 items for each. We can see the time allocation, 45 minutes for listening and then an hour and 50 minutes for reading. While for reading and writing test, the first section is for speaking, and then the second is for writing. We can see that in speaking consists of 11 items total with 25 minutes allocation, while for writing, 8 items with 60 minutes allocations. Here, why I give this 5 plus 5, because I divide 10 tips into 5 plus 5, because the first one is 5 tips to prepare for the test, and the other 5 is the tips to do during the test. Okay, tips to prepare for the test. Let's start from the first one. Okay, sorry to interrupt. The administrator, please admit the other participants who want to join us. Okay. The first one is practice test. For those of you who haven't done any test of TOEIC, please try to practice at least once before you start studying. Why? Because it will give you the idea of what you already know and where to start or what you have to study. And the second one is vocabulary. TOEIC test uses vocabulary related to everyday life, work, and businesses. Not only learn general vocabulary, you need to study TOEIC vocabulary. Here I have I have one link, English Grammar Pass, related to the vocabulary of TOEIC. Tip number 3 is listening exercise. Okay, listen to native speakers with different accents. And maybe some of my students have already known about this. Listen every day, listen minimum 5 minutes a day. I usually say that to them too. Listen minimum 5 minutes a day, listen minimum 5 times. Minimum 5 times. The first listening is for general ideas. You don't need to pay too much attention to the details. You just listen and then see the general ideas. See if you can get the ideas. See if you can get the points, the main points. And later, you may listen one more time to find the specific details. And then the third time listening, you can listen while reading the script if you can. Like if you see the YouTube channels and then find some topics that you like and then listen for the general ideas, the first one, and then the second specific details, and then the third, you may listen while reading the script, or you can add the subtitles. Tip number 4, read extensively. Okay, read extensively is reading as many as you like. The books, the websites, uh, blogs, something related with your passion, something related with your interest. Read what you want to read based on your interest and then according to your level of English. Tip number 5, practice test again and again. Yes, you can find it in the YouTube websites, many sources for TOEIC test. Why you need to practice test again and again? Because you can see your progress, and then you can practice more rather than the other, and then to motivate you to improve your score. And then tips what to do during the test. First of all, the first tip, read the questions quickly before the audio. So, therefore, you have to be able to quickly read the keywords, if you may. Remember the keywords because you will be able to focus on that. It will make you, it is easier for you to get the answer if you have read the questions before the audio. And then tip number 2, do not overthink. If you um, have any difficulties or if you're not sure with the answer immediately, don't wait too long because time is running and then the next question is coming. Therefore, if you doubt about it, trust your feeling. Just guess. And then tip number 3 is timing. Okay, it is very important dealing with reading because if you are stuck in one text and then doing that number or doing that item um, too long, then you will lose extra time for the other numbers. So if you find the difficult number, just skip first, and then you if you have more extra time later, you can go back to that number. And then you may check the clock to see whether um, you can keep up. I mean, do you do it too long or it is fast
Sige,
enough?
Gimana kan udah.
Okay, number 4, tips number 4, don't waste time.
Speaker kan bisa dikit-dikit.
Skip to the next questions if you think it's difficult. You can go back to that questions if you have some
Nah, iya.
extra time. The last one, tip number 5, never leave a single questions unanswered. If you don't know the answer, just guess.
Pas press.
In the TOEIC test, you don't lose points for wrong answers. So don't leave any answers blank. If by the end of the test, if you have still extra time, you may check and then try to guess the answer randomly. It could be done like that. Now that you have known the tips, let's have the TOEIC quiz. So as I have mentioned before that I will give the game. I need you to prepare your device and then try to join my quiz. Here, enter a game code. Okay, let me send this link to the chat box, right? So that you can just click and then you can join the game. Okay, can you see my link in the chat box? You may just click that and then join my game. Okay. Okay, I see five people are joining my quiz. Let's wait for the other. Okay, Mr. Fijri, Miss Yulia, Miss Tita, Miss Maharani, Mr. Aji, Mr. Toya. Okay, what about the other? Yes. Okay.
Uh,
Ini.
Okay. The link, please. Here is the link. The link. Okay. Okay, can you see my link? Okay. Okay, 11 people. I think we will start the game right after this. So please join us. Okay, Miss Prila, how many people are we going to wait for this game? You haven't unmute your speaker. Yeah.
Okay, I think we need, because of the limited time, we can start the game if the participant reach 25 or 30. Would be
Okay,
okay?
great. Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, for your
And don't forget,
information, yeah, for your information, participants, the three top winners will get the door prize from,
the door prize from
yeah.
UPB, Unit Pengembangan Bahasa. And if we already know the winner, we will ask them the address and we will send the prize to your home. So it will be
Great.
very interesting.
So the winners do not need to come to EIN, yeah.
Yes, we will send it.
Physical distancing.
Yes. Even in new normal era, so we have to do what's that? Like suggested by the government.
Yes, of course.
Okay, how many participants is it?
25.
Sorry, 25?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, join in. 27? Three more, I think.
Okay, 29. One more.
29? One more?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Okay then. 30. Let's start right now.
Okay, for the one who already joining, so it's start to play the game. Wow.
Okay, Fitria.
Fitria is the first. rank now? Okay, audience, for the one who, I mean, the voice is come out in the room. Would you like to mute it?
Okay, Tita. Is followed by Aji and Yulia Nuzulu. Our students, Miss.
Yes, the best student we ever have. Okay, but do you know how much time do we need to finish the game actually?
Yes. Yes.
What time? I mean, how much time do we need to finish this game?
Only about maximum around 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Maharani Christina, okay. Titah Gusti is the first.
Okay, Yulia, you can do it.
Where
Tita.
is Yulia? Where is Yulia?
Yulia is number 7. Yulia, come on. Tita, you are almost there.
Oh, there were 39 players.
Okay, great. Wow, Maharani. Tita, come on. Okay, Violet. Mm.
Okay, we got the winner.
Not yet. Okay. I think we got the winner. Okay, here. Okay, thank you. You may screenshot this. Violet number 1, Maharani number 2, and Tita number 3.
Number
Okay,
3.
thank you.
Okay, Pudido, maybe for I think the one who are not joining this game are curious. What is it? What kind of game is it? Maybe you can tell a little bit about this game.
Okay, it's quizzes. So everyone can sign up. Everyone can sign up as a teacher or as a student, and then you can choose the game. You can choose the game and then try to join a game or making the game.
Okay, I mean the content, the content that you already input on that game.
Okay, yeah.
Why the first winner is was it Violet?
It's about TOEIC vocabulary, and then TOEIC test. Like one of the example of TOEIC test is the like there is a picture of somebody who is doing something, and then the questions of what is it, the participants or the test taker should choose what is the picture is about, things like that. So
Okay.
the quiz is also deals with that.
Okay. For the 3 ranks, yeah, the first until the third. So would you like to call, I mean, send a message to the contact person? Yeah, contact person on that.
Please write it down in the comment.
Write it in the. You can directly send your address, and we will wrap the gift, and today we will send it.
Okay. Thank you very much for this very, what is it, interesting time for me to share my a little bit about my experience. Thank you for giving me the time, Pak Muklison and Miss Prila, to giving me the time to share my ideas and my thought here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pudino, for nice presentations. Pudino already said about their experience in getting RV, as well as we have for the maybe for the new one for the term TOEIC. This is the first time for you. You see that TOEIC is stand for test of English as communication. Yeah, if you want to know how you can communicate everyday English skill, yeah, in international environment, you can take a TOEIC test. And I think some of you give a little bit question. You can save it, and after the third speakers, you can raise question during the question and answer in the chat box, or you can raise your hand in the participant place. Okay, now we invite the second speakers. This is the most familiar task for the one who want to enroll in the program and you got scholarship. Now we go to Bu Rukmini. Bu Rukmini, are you ready? Say hello to me. Bu Rukmini, are you there?
Yes, sorry. I'm ready, Bu Prila.
Okay. Ready, Pak admin. Yeah. Okay. Now I would like to introduce Buruk Mini SSMBD. I will show the CV. Okay, this is the CV. Yeah, Rukminingsi SSMPD. Yeah, you can get in touch in her mobile phone. This is the email address, and she has ORCID ID, Scopus, and etc. We can share the Burukmini CV on the material too. And she likes travel a lot. Yeah, she likes travel a lot for presenting their article. You see that like in Malaysia or in Tokyo, Japan. And she's also the owner of English private course that usually handle TOEFL preparation tests. So it would be very great to meet her now. Okay, thank you. Time is your
Thank you, Bu Prita.
Burukmini.
Yes, thank you, Bu Prila.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, dear the participants. Nice.
Okay, Burukmini, we cannot see your slide.
Okay, not yet.
Mini.
Okay, Pak Saf. The admin.
Still on the process.
Okay, now you can share your or we need the admin to share your material.
No. Can you
No,
see
okay.
this? Can you see?
Okay, thank you. We already see your slide. So time is yours now.
Okay. Okay, dear participants, this is my second turn. As Kuprila said last time, that there are some participants who are not dealing with the English department, so maybe I will share in English and also in Indonesia, in Bahasa, in order to all the participants can get the information that I will share. Okay, the title for uh, my discussion is how to get a national scholarship. Actually, that we have two kinds of scholarship. We have a national scholarship and also international scholarship. Maybe in the for the third speakers, we will discuss about how to get international scholarship. But now I will discuss and share my experience with the national scholarship. Okay, here I'm going to discuss or share with the two focus. The first focus is the 10 great ways to get a national college scholarship, and the second dealing with the English proficiency test. We have some kinds of English proficiency test, but in my discussion, I just take one kind of English proficiency test. That's called TOEFL. Okay, and then 10 great ways to get a national scholarship. First, that please fulfill the scholarship requirement. You know that each scholarship is different and requires different documentation. And then the second is don't ignore the optional question. Jadi
And the third, look professional. It means that please you try to make your name well known. Your name is well known in Google. It means that when you write down your name in Google, for example, the meaning say, and then Google will see your uh, professional. Yeah, okay. And for prepare well your English competence. It means that you need to prepare well in the longer time, maybe in order to make it practice. And the fifth is English Proficiency Test Certificate. Jadi English Proficiency Test Certificate sebaiknya disiapkan, mulai disiapkan kalau ingin melamar di 2021, mungkin sekarang sudah mulai dipersiapkan untuk praktis ya. Sehingga nanti ketika suatu beasiswa itu membutuhkan certificate for the English Proficiency Test, so you are ready with this. And the sixth is prepare well for academic potential test atau biasa disebut dengan PPA. And seventh, prepare well your proposal. That's very very important ya, because proposal itu adalah hal yang paling penting. Biasanya kita harus presentasi tentang proposal kita. And eight, meet deadline. Jadi jangan sampai kita mengumpulkan melebihi deadline. And then 9, prepare for the interview. And 10, it's very important for us, be patient ya. Karena kadang-kadang kita tidak bisa sekali langsung bisa masuk ke beasiswa ya. Based on my
Halo Bu Rukmini,
yes.
I cannot hear your voice at all.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Can you speak loud?
Yes. Okay. Okay. And the 10 is be patient. Of course, be patient. Kenapa be patient? Kenapa be patient? Karena kadang kita tidak bisa langsung ya, terima beasiswa. Jadi kita mungkin bisa mengulang 1 kali, 2 kali, atau bahkan 3 kali. But you must be patient ya. Okay, next. So now we go to the second focus about TOEFL. TOEFL, the stands for Test of English as Foreign Language. Jadi memang TOEFL ini digunakan untuk menguji kompetensi bahasa Inggris untuk bahasa Inggris sebagai bahasa asing. Okay, kinds of TOEFL we have PBT, CBT, IBT, and ITP. Tetapi karena ini adalah fokus saya adalah di national scholarship, jadi kebanyakan menggunakan PBT. Sedangkan ITP juga bisa terkadang digunakan ya, ITP Institutional Testing Program. Tetapi apa bedanya? Kalau ITP itu ada satu perguruan tinggi ya yang membuat soal tetapi berstandarkan TOEFL ya. Tetapi ini jarang diakui ya, tidak semuanya diakui ya, tidak semuanya negara mengakui ini. Biasanya hanya biasanya hanya nasional.
The voice is not.
Okay. Next.
Louder, Mrs.
Yeah. Okay. And then you know that we have test materials, time allocation, and score of PBT. We have the test materials when we are going to, now we discuss about PBT test, and then we have we have a test material here. Okay, in PBT, we have 3 kinds of the material. The first is listening comprehension, consists of 50 numbers, and the second structure and written expression, 40 numbers, reading comprehension, 50 numbers. Ini adalah soal untuk TOEFL terdiri dari 3 materi ini, yaitu listening, 50 soal, structure 40 numbers, kemudian reading 50 nomor. Oke. Kemudian kita masuk ke jumlah soal. Listening comprehension ada 50 nomor dalam waktu 30 menit. structure dan written pada waktu 25 menit, reading comprehension 55 menit. Setelah itu, kita juga harus mengenal berapa sih skor kemampuan kita, ya. Kalau di dalam beasiswa dalam negeri biasanya menggunakan standar sekitar 500 untuk TOEFL, ya. Nah, kita lihat di sini the lowest score for TOEFL is 310, 310, dan the highest score-nya adalah 677. Di sini ada kriterianya, yaitu ada kriteria elementary level, low intermediate, high intermediate, and advanced level. Jadi kita berada beasiswa dalam negeri biasanya meminta kita hanya 500, jadi pada level high intermediate. Kemudian bagaimana kita mengerjakan, ya? Karena TOEFL itu dengan waktu yang terbatas, maka bagaimana kita mengerjakannya dengan cepat, ya? Karena terkadang kita banyak peserta banyak mengatakan bahwa Bu, saya tidak selesai, ya, tidak selesai karena soalnya banyak, waktunya sedikit. Belum lagi dengan ditunjang dengan faktor psikis, ya. Jadi pada listening comprehension ada triksnya. Read the instruction first, ya. Baca instruksi dulu, question dan questionnya, hati-hati sebelum diputar listeningnya, ya. And then you can make a note while listening. And the third, become as familiar with English language. You can including learning vocabulary words and idioms. Jadi sering-sering berlatih itu. Kemudian bagaimana caranya kalau kita itu biasanya kita kan orang Indonesia, ya. Kadang-kadang nggak familiar, ya, dengan bahasa Inggris. Jadi ketika kita mendengar rasanya kok nggak bisa menangkap apapun. Itu bukan karena telinga kita kurang bagus, tetapi karena kita kurang berlatih. Bagaimana caranya berlatih yang menyenangkan, ya? Kita bisa mendengarkan musik atau bisa mendengarkan film, ya, tapi bukan film Korea, ya, tapi filmnya ya film yang berbahasa Inggris. Kalau Korea drakor, nanti Bu Prila suka itu. Oke. Nah, yang mempunyai yang ada subtitlesnya, ya, karena kalau masih belajaran, ya, kalau ini nggak bisa, ya. Oke. Next. Nah, kemudian tadi kan ada listening, kemudian ada structure, ya, di mana ada 40 soal, di situ ada 25 menit, hanya 25 menit, ya. Nah, apa yang harus dipelajari pada structure itu ada beberapa yang sering keluar, ya. Itu di situ sudah tertera, ada subject verb agreement, ada irregular, ada phrase, appositive, dan lain sebagainya. Itu adalah yang sering keluar pada soal-soal TOEFL. Sehingga itu yang perlu difokuskan dulu. Oke, so bagaimana caranya kita mengerjakan TOEFL dengan cepat, ya? Jadi kadang-kadang kita terlena dengan arti dalam satu kalimat itu, di mana kita nggak paham apa nih maksudnya, ya. Sedangkan kita dituntut untuk mengerjakan dengan cepat, hitungan detik, misalkan begitu. Number one, contoh. The National Restaurant bla 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 bla, itu ada koma setelah Washington. Dan say that federal bla 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 bla. Nah, ini yang biasa terjadi dan merupakan satu kesalahan adalah examiner itu atau test taker, dia melanjutkan membaca sampai selesai. That takes much time, buang-buang energi, dan kadang nggak paham, ya. Jadi harus ada triknya. Ya, bagaimana triknya? Tadi kan sudah ada. Tadi ada prinsipal grammar yang harus dikuasai. Nah, coba kita lihat di situ, di bla bla bla, ada Washington, ada koma. Sehingga kalau ada koma, berarti itu nanti pasti ada koma lagi, karena termasuk apa itu? Appositive. Jadi namanya restricted, ya. Restricted phrase. Jadi itu appositive. Jadi nggak usah mikir banyak, yang mana yang ada komanya. E nggak ada, lewat. B nggak ada, lewat. C, koma. D tidak ada komanya. Sudah langsung hitungan detik kita bisa menjawab. The answer is C, ya. Karena di situ adalah appositive. Jadi ada 2 koma. Appositive itu adalah phrase yang untuk memberikan further information, ya. Oke, number 2. Seperti ini. One problem with all languages, bla bla bla, they are full of. Nah, kalau dari number 2 itu ada berapa subjek kira-kira? Ada 2. One problem adalah the full subject. They bla 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 adalah the second subject. Jadi kalau ada 2 subjek, kira-kira apa yang dibutuhkan? Kalau yang kalimat kedua setelah bla bla itu kan ada kalimat kedua ya. Kalimat kedua itu kan ada predikatnya. Predikatnya adalah are ya. Sehingga dia sudah ada kalimat lengkap. Kemudian yang kalimat one problem bla bla bla, no predicate. Sehingga dibutuhkan apa? Jelas nanti isinya harus ada predikatnya. This is the first. And the second, kalau ada dua kalimat berarti nanti harus ada connectors-nya. Berarti yang dibutuhkan adalah predicate and connector. Jadi apa? Jawabannya kita lihat dalam waktu detik. When hanya apa? Connector. So, connector, in case connector. And then D is predicate and connector. So, the answer is D. Oke, number 3 now. Di dalam soal grammar ada dua bagian ya. Satu adalah mengisi completion, mengisi bla 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 ya seperti number 1 and number 2. And number 3 itu adalah error. Ya, kita recognition error. Kita mengenali error mana yang error. Nah, itu kalau diterjemahkan lama ya nggak selesai-selesai ya. Number 3, contoh. 5 miles beyond the hills, bla 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 bla. Ini apa ini ya? Kadang-kadang ada pengecohnya, ada descriptornya. The hills itu jamak. Berarti pakai were, sudah benar berarti. Berarti yang salah it's atau reaching. Padahal bukan seperti itu. Ya, jadi kalau di error biasanya ada kata pilihan pengecoh ya atau distractors. Jadi kira-kira subjeknya apa? Orang kalau tidak tahu berarti dikirain subjeknya adalah the hills ya. Padahal 5 miles beyond the hills itu adalah keterangan. Jadi tidak mungkin itu adalah subjek. Subjeknya mana? Subjeknya inverted. Subjeknya adalah a fire ya, karena di situ bukan subjek 5 miles beyond the hills. Ya, subjeknya adalah a fire. A fire is the subject. Jadi itu inverted sehingga jawabannya yang benar yang salah adalah yang harus dipilih adalah were. Harusnya dia dalam bentuk singular. This is salah satu trik kita bagaimana mengerjakan cepat ya. Jadi untuk grammar jangan dibaca semuanya ya. It will take your time ya. Okay. Next. The last one. This is about reading comprehension. Ada 50 numbers in 55 minutes. Kelihatannya in 55 minutes itu banyak sekali. Berarti kita lebih dari 1 menit setiap soal. Is that right? Tetapi ketika kita sudah membaca itu akan habis waktunya, ya reading itu. Sehingga kita harus mengenali dulu kira-kira reading itu apa saja yang dikeluarkan. Kalau tadi grammar itu ada sekian skill, ya ada sekian aspek ya, ada subject verb agreement dan lain sebagainya. Nah, kalau reading itu ada main idea, detail, pronoun reference, and vocabulary itu loh yang ditanyakan. Jenis-jenis pertanyaannya seperti itu, ya. Jadi main idea, details, pronoun, reference, and vocabulary. Harus punya trik juga ya. Please, read the question first. Jadi baca questionnya dulu, dibaca dulu ya. Kemudian baru skimming, kemudian baru scanning, and answer the question that asks about vocabulary, words, and detail. Jadi tadi ada 4, main idea, details, pronoun reference, and vocabulary. Oke. Next. Sekarang saya akan menyajikan, kalau saya sajikan semuanya kan tidak mungkin. Jadi saya menyajikan satu strategi bagaimana menjawab main idea. Ya, tadi kan ada 4 ya, kalau nggak salah ada main idea, ada pronoun reference, ada details, and vocabulary. Sekarang akan saya, ini hanya satu strategi, bagaimana strategi untuk menjawab main idea. Untuk melihat how to identify question, jadi untuk menanyakan main idea itu hanya banyak many ways ya, banyak cara ya, biasanya digunakan di TOEFL. Satu contoh, for example, what is the topic? Topic, subject, main idea, author, main point of view, kemudian the best title, itu adalah menanyakan main ideas. Ya, oke. Kemudian setelah kita tahu, oh ini berarti 4-5 pertanyaan ya, tadi kurang 1, the best title ya, itu sama. Sebenarnya menanyakan apa? Dia menanyakan main idea ya. Kemudian setelah kita tahu, oh ini jenis pertanyaan main idea. So, where to find the answer? Ya, pada second paragraph itu ya. Where to find the answer? To answer in this type of question, you can see the first line ya. Each paragraph ya. kita lihat paragraf awal, line kalimat pertama ya, pada masing-masing paragraf. Kalau itu ada beberapa paragraf, kalau hanya satu paragraf malah enak ya. Setelah itu, apakah kita langsung serta-merta? Kita ambil no ya. How to answer the question? Tadi setelah where, how to answer the question first, read the first line of each paragraph. Kemudian baca ya masing-masing kalimat pertama dalam paragraf. Yang kedua adalah look for a common tema ya, lihat common tema dan idenya pada the first line. Kemudian pass your eyes itu artinya kita langsung skimming ya. Skimming in order to meyakin bahwa ini adalah main idea atau topik. Cirinya apa? Karena nanti kita harus tahu bahwa kalau nanti memang first line adalah main idea, so the sentences they must supporting sentences. Pasti itu adalah kalimat yang support pada the first line. Ya, kita yakinkan dulu itu. Next, this is the examples. Ya, oke, kita lihat. This is sorry. Okay, this is the last slide. This is question about the main idea, ya. Itu ada kalimat satu paragraf, ya. Kemudian pertanyaannya adalah what is the topic? Nah, itu tadi kan sama, menanyakan main idea, ya. Kemudian please see the first line in the philosophy bla 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 bla. Di situ ada saya bold, ada intelligence and reasoning. That's the theme, ya kan? Itu adalah theme-nya, intelligence and reasoning. Langsung kita kerjakan. What is the topic? First, intelligence of John. Hanya intelligence, so it is no. Ya. The second, distinction made by. Distinction yang bagaimana? Ya memang ini membedakan, tapi distinction yang apa tidak jelas. Kecuali kalau dia distinction, intelligence and reasoning. Tapi tidak ada, no. And then C, ideas on the ability to reason, no. So, yang mana? How intelligence differ from reasoning. Jadi ada dua tim ya antara intelligence and reasoning. So I think you don't need to take a lot of time. Okay, this is the last slide, my last slide, and then this is one sentence I think. Yeah, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Yeah. Remember, you have within your strength, patience, and passion to reach the stars to change the world. Okay, so I think that's all, Bu Prila. Thank you very much, dear participants. I'm waiting your sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Rukmini, for the wonderful presentations. Because you see that everyone, I think, is interested in joining TOEFL. That's why, if you want to know more about TOEFL, especially for teachers, Bapak Ibu Guru, atau MGMP, if you want to know more about how to prepare ourselves to take a TOEFL test, you can directly send a proposal. I mean, we can, kita bisa bekerja sama unit pusat bahasa dengan Bapak Ibu Guru for handling such kind of training, bisa memberikan program training untuk TOEFL preparation. Yeah, you can ask more about this program in the contact person that we have stated. Okay, thank you. The next presenter, this is the most wonderful one. A mother with 3 kids, Mbak Fa, Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah. Okay, would you like to unmute your unmute your microphone? Okay, yes. Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah MAD. Okay, I would like to share a little bit about your your CV. Okay, wait. I will share so everybody can read it. Okay, The complete name is Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah SSMED. She is from Blitar and she is an English lecturer in IAIN Tulungagung. Yeah. She got this one. This is the educational background, academic working experience, and you see that she also actively attended some seminar, conferences, training, and also scholarship partnership. Okay, and one is the most interesting one is she got a scholarship from EDS, yeah, Australian Development Scholarship, and right now it's called AAS, Australian Award Scholarship. And you see that she is one of my college when I took an IELTS test, and she is the higher one, 7.5, and it's like a native like. Okay, that's a little bit about Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah. So, Bufa, you can share now about your experience in achieving scholarship as well as what is IELTS actually. Okay, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bupila. Can you hear my voice clearly? I hope so. Try to speak loudly. Thank you for the chance. Thank you, Pak Muhlisan and Bupila, for having me today. It's a great honor for me to be here, and I hope there will be no regret to have me today. Okay, I'll try to share my screen first. Okay, wait a second. Okay. Can anybody see the screen? Okay, Bupila, how is the screen? Can you see it?
Yeah, so would you like to make it in, what's that? A big slide.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so today I'm very happy to be here with EIN Ponorogo, and I'm going to share my experience. I'm not the expert, but I have an experience that I think is very special for me. And uh, first of all, I want to say to Guru Meningsi, I really like your quotation. I do agree that dream is very important. And my experience is also started from my dream. Okay, and this is my name. And okay, and today I want to share about the scholarship that I got. Well, it was 11 years ago, quite long. So I'm afraid I'm too old for this, hopefully not. And the next one is I'm going to talk about IELTS test. Okay. Now, first, it's about AAS or AAI or ADS. Well, the scholarship changes name many times, not many times, 3 times. First, it was ADS, Australian Development Scholarship. It was in about 2005 when I applied for this scholarship, and then it just sent it to AAS, Australia Award Scholarship. Australia Award Scholarship is general. I mean, it's not just for Indonesia. So that why nowadays it has special website, which is Australia Awards in Indonesia, so focusing only for Indonesian people. Okay, now, how can I get the scholarship? Okay, excuse me. I want to see the chat box. Okay. All right. Well, if you want to know more about the scholarship, you can just go to the website. It is australiaawardsindonesia.org, and this is the picture in the home of the website. And then, what is actually Australia Awards in Indonesia? Well, it's an international award offered by the government or Australian government, and especially administered by DFAT, or the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. So, yeah, so that's the department that are in charge of this scholarship. And the third one, this scholarship aims to contribute to the development of the needs of Australia's partner countries, including Indonesia. So not just Indonesia, but one of them is Indonesia. And how to apply to this scholarship? Okay, you can see in this slide. So for this year, it's a 2021 intake. So you can go to this website, but before, sorry, the audience, please unmute your speaker, your microphone, I mean. Okay, thank you. All right, so how to apply for this scholarship? First, you need to go to this website, the oasis.dfat.gov.au. And then after having your number from this website, then you can go to Australia Awards website to fill another form and also to attach documents. And okay, well, actually, you can go to Australian Award YouTube. They have provided some videos, including this one. So this is the process of applying for the scholarship. As you can see, the first one is you need to think about the requirements. So you have to make sure that you meet the requirement. You have to read it carefully, because if you cannot meet the requirement, then you might not be able to be successful in this scholarship. And then after knowing the requirement, then you can fill the form. As I said, the first is you can go to OASIS website, and then the second one you can go to Australian Award website. And in filling the form, you have to be careful, because you need to write it correctly and carefully, and you need to write convincing information and also reasons so that you are eligible for the scholarship. And then the form will be sent online now, but in my period I had to send it offline. Yeah, I have to send it through the mail. Okay. And then after filling the form, then you have to send it online, and then you'll wait for the announcement, because there will be two kind of selections. The first is document selections, and the second one is interview and IELTS test selection. So after filling the form, then you will wait for the announcement, and if you get mail or also information from SMS, and if you pass the first selection, then you will have notification. But if you don't, maybe the notification will come later. I experienced twice applying for the scholarship. In 2004, I applied for the first time, and I passed the first selection. So I passed the document selection, and then I followed the second selection for interview. But then for the first time, I failed the interview. But the following year, I tried again, and again, I filled the form and then wait for the announcement, and then I passed. And in 2005, there were about 6,000 applicants, and ADS invited about 600 applicants to follow the second selection, which is interview. So let's go to the next step. In interview, the applicants will be interviewed by GST interviewer, the joint selection team. The interviewers are a combination of scholars from Indonesia and Australia. And for master student, you will be interviewed by one scholar from Indonesia and one from Australia. But for PhD candidates, you will be interviewed by 4 scholars. Wow, sounds scary, I think. Yeah, because and of the 4, 2 of them are from Indonesia and 2 others are from Australia. Okay, and in the day of interview, you will also get information about IELTS test. So why IELTS? Well, that's why I'm going to discuss more about IELTS later, because in Australia with scholarship, you are required to have IELTS test. Okay, and then after successing the second selection, and then you are waiting for the announcement, and then if you are successful, then you will get notification to follow the next, or maybe the last part before going to Australia, which is pre-departure training. So the pre-departure training has many periods. I mean, there are many options, and the training start from the shortest one is 5 weeks now. It was 6 weeks, and the longest one is 9 months. Okay. What determines the period of time for the training? Well, it depends on your IELTS test in the, IELTS score in the test, in the previous test. If you got at least 5 IELTS score, and then you may have to attend the training for about 6 or maybe 9 months. But if you got at least 6.5 scores for IELTS, and you may just need to attend about 5 weeks for the training. Okay. Previously, I tell you about the scores. Well, it's the scores for IELTS is different from TOEFL or also TOEIC, but maybe I will tell you about it later. Okay, let's move. And if you want to know more about this explanation, you can just go to this YouTube channel, or I will show you the YouTube channel right now. Okay. Okay, excuse me.
Okay,
so here.
Bu Faiz,
Yes.
it's better for you to share the link on the chat box, so you can continue to the next explanations. I think everybody wants to know what is IELTS.
Okay. So I just want to show you this website. So here you can see some tips. So tips for the process of applying for the scholarship, tips for filling the form, and also tips for okay, excuse me, I'm going to write. Okay. Yes, and this is okay. So you can see in the chat box the link to the YouTube channel. There you will find information about those um, procedure, and also the tips for filling the form, and also tips for how being successful in the interview sections. Okay, all right. Okay. Excuse me, now I'm going to continue. Okay, in my experience, I can give you some tips for filling the form to be successful for the first selections. Okay. Yeah. Okay. First, you need to read the handbook carefully. Where can you find the handbook? Of course, in the website. And then to also know the requirement, whether you meet the requirement or not. And then you need to fill the application form carefully and clearly. You have to be confident to write the reason, convincing reason, and then you have to attach the required document. And one of the documents is the IELTS or your English proficiency, and of course you have to grade. And for the second one, for the interview, you need to remember what you have written in the application, because the interviewer has already read your form, so they will ask questions regarding the information they have got. Okay, and focus on the contribution to Indonesia. And again, in the interview, you have to be confident, but not overconfident, and convincing, and also be yourself. Okay, so now let's talk about IELTS. Okay, and IELTS. I don't know whether everybody in this um, webinar has already familiar with IELTS. So, okay, let's try. Okay, I can't see the chat box. So now maybe you can just write in the chat box, are you familiar with IELTS before? Or do you think it's the first time for you to know things or information about IELTS? Okay, audience, you can write down in the chat box. Are you familiar with IELTS test? Okay, well, I can't see the, unfortunately, I can't see the comments. All right, so I will just leave it. Okay, I will continue. Okay.
Yes, Bufa. It seems everybody has already know what is IELTS. I mean, the kind of test, but never join the test itself.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Gabriela. I couldn't, I can't read the comments. Okay, so I will continue. So maybe you've heard about IELTS, but I don't think IELTS is more popular than TOEFL. Yeah. IELTS is, stands for the International English Language Testing System, and it is developed by Cambridge, British Council, and IDP Education Australia. And this is the difference between IELTS and TOEFL and also TOEIC, because both TOEFL and TOEIC are developed by American people. But for IELTS, it's different. Okay, and what else the difference between IELTS and also other tests? IELTS is needed for, IELTS score is needed for scholarship, especially Australian word. And then one of the reasons why IELTS is not very popular, perhaps because IELTS test is somehow, for me, I think is expensive. You need to prepare about around 3 million to take the test. And I don't think TOEFL will be this expensive. Yeah. Okay. And then what the 2 points are important for taking the IELTS test. The first is proficiency and the second is familiarity. What are these? I'm going to go back to these terms later at the end of this presentation. Okay, now let's move. If you take IELTS test, you have to choose between two choices. The first is academic and the second is general training. Because we are talking about scholarship studying, so we'll focus on academic one. And what are the difference between the two? Okay, now let's look at the next here. Okay, when you look at these columns, you're gonna see that there are 4 skills tested in IELTS test, including listening, and then reading, and then writing, and the last one is speaking. And as you can see, for reading and writing, uh, the test taker will have different questions, but for listening and speaking, they may have similar questions. Okay, and then you can also see in listening, there are 4 sections with 40 items, and you need about 30 minutes for this for listening part. And for the academic reading and also general training reading, you will find 3 sections or 3 tags, and the text is somehow quite long. It's about 3 pages, and you will find 40 items or 40 questions, and you need to finish the reading part in about 60 minutes. So you are suggested to finish or to divide your times 20 minutes for each task. And for the next one, for writing, there will be 2 tasks, and this is very challenging for writing because in an hour, in 60 minutes, you have to be able to write writing task 1, which consists of 150 words, and writing task 2, which is essay, you have to finish writing about 250 words. So 1 hour, you have to finish 2 kind of writings. And then the last one is speaking. So speaking, it takes about 11 to 40 minutes. So the total is 2 hours and 44 minutes. But of course, you cannot say that this is the total for everyone, because for speaking, you have to take 10. Then one may be the first in the turn, and others may be the last. So the total score could be more than just 2 hours and 44 minutes. So you have to prepare well. What do you have to prepare for this? Okay, I'm sorry if I kind of rushing. I kind of speaking maybe quickly. So if you have questions, just prepare your question and then you can ask it later. Okay, these are the things that you need for to bring for the test. Okay, I think it's just a normal thing. So, okay. And then I'll continue to the next one. Okay, for reading, for listening, as I said, there are 4 parts, and then I'll go directly to the tips. Okay, so have a look at this one. The tips for listening part in IELTS, I think it's similar to other tests because all tests are measuring the proficiency, English proficiency. First, concentration. And maybe for me, you need to have more concentration. Why more? Because in a TOEIC and TOEFL, you may have multiple choice type of tests. But for IELTS, it's not only multiple choice tests, but mostly you have to fill the blank, you have to write the answer while listening, and then that makes it challenging. So you have to be able to understand what is spoken by people in the recording. So you need to really concentrate on this part. And then the questions in listening and also other parts of this test is start from easy to difficult ones. So if you find the first part of listening are too difficult, then you have to remember that the first part should be easy. So the next part might be more difficult. So you have to keep your spirit. Okay, if you miss maybe some questions in the first, then you have to still go on. You have to move on because next questions is waiting for you to answer. So you have to remember this. And again, the same as the previous presenter, you also have to guess the answer. Don't leave any blank because no penalty for wrong answer. And you need to pay attention to plurals. It's tricky because sometimes we cannot really hear carefully the ending as in sentences. As is very important, and it's a kind of irony if you get wrong answer because you miss the word as. And then remember, you have to have the correct spelling for the answer. Okay, all right. And then next, for reading, there are 3 texts. And okay, let's just go to the tips. Again, concentration, still concentration, yes. And sometimes for me, what makes it hard in reading is to avoid being sleepy because the texts are very long and then difficult words sometimes I get sleepy easily. So that's why. So you have to concentrate but not getting sleepy. Okay, and then the next is the same as the first one and as listening. So the question starts from the easy one to the difficult one, but okay, but because the text come from several sources, so they may have different topics. So if you find one topic is more familiar for you, then start with it because the test takers come from different professionals or has different interests, but they have to do the same test. So if you find a topic, one of the 3 is interesting or familiar for you, then start with it and then continue to do the other. And try to finish the easiest one no more than 20 minutes, because if you have more time, then you can do it for the most difficult one. Okay, and then pay attention to paraphrases and restatement because the questions in reading part usually is paraphrases or restatement. So the same meaning from the text, but they have different words. So they kind of synonyms or antonyms or let's say like different structure, but they have the same meaning. So pay attention to this. Okay. And again, reading is also not multiple choice. So you have to be careful in answer because you may have to, because usually you have to write exactly the same words in the text to the questions. So you have to really be careful because it's not just A, B, C, D, E. Okay, that's for reading. And then let's move to okay, some notes. Yeah. So in listening, you have time to transfer the answer from the questions booklet to the answer sheet. But for reading part, you don't have more time to transfer the answer. So you have to answer directly in the answer sheet for the reading. But for listening, you have time to transfer the answers. You can take notes in the questions booklet for the listening, but not for reading. Okay, now for writing. Okay, well, listening and reading are receptive skills. So sometimes some people find find writing and speaking as more difficult skills, but well, it depends. In writing, as I said, you're gonna have 2 tasks. So the first is writing task 1, and the second is writing task 2. And my suggestion is that you start doing writing task 2 first. Why? it contains more words. Because if you start doing writing task 1, sometimes you spend too long doing the first task, and then you don't have enough time to do the second one. So I suggest you to do the writing task 2 first, and then after that you can continue writing the second task. Okay, and then for writing, your writing will be assessed based on task achievement. So it will depend on the questions, and then coherence and cohesions. Okay, go back to your writing class, and then vocabulary. So you need to have wide range of vocabulary. So avoid to have repetition in words, and also grammatical accuracy. So don't make too many errors in grammar. Okay, and then related to writing task 1, what do you have to do? What do you have to write in 150 words? You have to describe, present, compare data, describe stages, and so on in 20 minutes. So try, well, you don't have to finish it in 20 minutes, but try to use not more than 20 minutes, because other 40 minutes will be used for writing task 2. Okay, what do we have to describe and present and so on? Okay, you may have to describe this line chart or bar chart, or also map. Sometimes you have to compare two maps, or you also may have to explain about a table. So these are all the example of writing task 1, but of course it will vary time for time. So of course you will have different questions, and just pray that you're gonna have the easiest one. Okay. And now for my suggestion. Oh, wait. Okay. My tips for writing task 1, of course, even though you only have to write 150 words, but you still have to spend few minutes for planning, making an outline, and then you need to also spend at least 2 minutes for editing. And then in writing task 1, you need to at least have 3 paragraphs, yeah, consisting overview, and also highlight the 3 trends in the diagram. And then remember also to have a paraphrasing, and then to use a wide range of vocabulary. Okay, and then for writing task 2, you have to write for about 250 words, and you need to spend about 40 minutes. Why 40 minutes? Longer time because it's a longer essay. So you have to write an essay, and then what kind of essay? It depends on the questions. It can be argument, it can be problem solution, it can be cause index, it can be advantage or disadvantage. Okay, and then I'm going to show you some example of the questions for this writing task 2. Okay, for example, the second one, some people think that the sense of competition in children should be encouraged. Others believe that children are taught to, okay, and so on. And then you have to discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So here are what you have to do. So you have to discuss both of these views, and you have to give your own opinion. So you cannot write like advantage or disadvantage, but you have to discuss. Well, you cannot have like cause and effects, of course, for this, but you need to give a similar proportion for the first view and also the second view. But you also have to give your opinion for this example of the writing task 2. And for this writing task 2, my tips are similar to writing task 1. You also have to spend at least 5 minutes for planning. Sometimes people say, well, I don't want to waste my time planning and doing nothing. I have to directly write. But if you do that, then you might get lost. You may not be able to to keep the track. So I think it's better for you to spend few for planning, and then you have to stick to the plan, and then you will be able to finish the task better or earlier. And then later also, before the time's up, you also have to spend few minutes for editing. So you need to look at the vocabulary that you use. You have to focus on the grammar and also punctuation and so on, because that's important. And also, of course, you have to remember that you have to meet the number of the words, because if your words is less than that, then you may have less score. But don't make it too long, of course. Okay, and then for the second writing, you need to have at least 4 paragraphs, including introductions, and 2 paragraphs for discussions, and then the last paragraph is for concluding paragraph. Okay, and paraphrasing, and then vocabulary. And remember, there is no right or wrong opinion, so you don't need to be worried that whether your opinion is right or wrong, because what you are assessed is your proficiency in writing your opinion, in showing your ability in writing English well. Okay, all right. And then for the last one is speaking. Okay, speaking can be interesting. Why? Because from all 4 skills, only in speaking you'll be able to face the examiner. Well, for for writing, of course, your text will be examined by the examiner, but you will not be able to see it. But for speaking, of course, you have to see the examiner face to face in front of you, and it's good if your examiner is good looking, for example. Okay, it may motivate you. Okay, and then for speaking part, it will spend about 11 to 40 minutes, and then there will be 3 parts. So the first takes about 4 to 5 minutes, and of course the first usually easier than the next one. And then for the second part, usually is well in the middle, and then the last part sometimes is the most difficult one. What you have in the first part? Okay, in the first part is including introduction, so talking about yourself, so some familiar topics like what's your favorite color? Do you like some colors now? Okay, and so on. So it's very yeah, it's more about you. So getting to know the interview. Okay, okay, those are some examples. Okay, I hear a weird washing. Okay, now part 2. That was part 1, and now for part 2. In part 2, the examiner will give you a card with a prompt. So you will get a condition in the card. Okay, I'm going to show you later after this. Okay, and then when you have got the card, then you have to prepare to talk. The preparation is 1 minute, and then after that you have to talk non-stop for 2 minutes. And in these 2 minutes, the examiner will just keep silent and maybe just nodding the head and so on, and smile and something like that. And then after talking for 2 minutes, and then the examiner will ask you 1 question about the topics that you have just explained in 2 minutes. And then what are the example of the prompt? Okay, like for example, like this one. So you may get the card with this writing, describe a well-known person you like or admire, and then you have to say in 2 minutes who this person is, why this person has done, why this person is well-known, and explain why you admire this person. So after having this card, then you have to take notes for 1 minute, and then after that you have to talk non-stop for 2 minutes. And then after that, the examiner will ask you 1 question. Okay, and these are other examples. Okay, and the last part, okay, and before I end my presentation, in the last part, you're gonna have some questions. Okay, and the questions will give you a chance to show your critical thinking. And usually, part 3 questions related to part 2 topic. So if in the part 2, you are talking about the person you like. So maybe in part 3, still talking about this. But the questions will be about how or why or things like that. But again, remember, there is no right or wrong opinion. So just feel free to say anything you want to say, but try, of course, to avoid racist or like overconfidence or underestimate others. Okay, and for speaking, you will be assessed for your fluency, coherence, and then vocabulary, and also grammar, and the last one is pronunciations. Okay, so well, that's all. And oh, this is the example of the questions. Okay, I'm going to read the first one. The first example: what kind of music are popular with young people in your culture? What do you think influences a person's taste in music? Okay, what do you think? So this, you have to give your opinion for this. Okay. All right, for speaking, you have to be friendly, smile, but not too long. Okay, not too much smiling. Speak loudly, but not shouting. And you have to keep an eye. So don't look at the wall, don't look at the roof, don't look at the floor, but look at the examiner. Okay, but don't staring. Okay, try to avoid much hesitation. You may say but not too much. So you may use some filler, right? Like I think, maybe. Okay, so don't use too much. And then um for speaking, I also encourage you to ask questions for clarification if the questions from the examiner might be not so clear. So you can just ask the examiner to repeat the questions or asking for clarification. And the last one, when you speak and then you feel that you have wrong grammar, and then you may also correct yourself. And it can give you a bonus point from the examiner. And remember, so your score for speaking will not only be given by the examiner, but your voice will also be recorded. So someone behind the scene will also listen to your recording without knowing you. So you have to really speak clearly and carefully. Okay, all right. And then, okay, my tips for the test day. Okay, remember, don't do SKS, okay, or learning the night before the test. Okay, so one day before the test, you have to put away all the books. So you have to have enough sleep, and then you have to prepare the meal, supplements. So you have to make sure that the next day you'll be fit. And then you have to prepare things you have to wear, and also you have to bring the following day. So don't do it in a hurry. Okay, and then on the test day, you have to relax. Okay, even though okay, taking tests can be stressful, but you have to think about positive. Yeah, you have to think positively. And then you have to wear the most comfortable outfit, not too well, too big or too small, so it must be comfortable. And then you have to have your breakfast. Usually the test starts about 8 in the morning, and then you have to be confident. Whatever the score, you have to be confident. Okay. And okay, so for the conclusion, so I suggest you who want to take IELTS test to improve the proficiency. How? Okay, similar to what Budinut said previously. So I do really encourage you to have extensive learning. What is extensive learning? Extensive learning is learning including extensive reading. Extensive reading is very important, but you can also have extensive listening, not just extensive reading, but also extensive listening, and then you can combine both. So you may have, or you may find text with voice or with sound, so that you can, at the same time, you learn reading, but you also learn listening. So you will be able to write it, and then you will be able to pronounce it well. Okay, and then of course, from proficient, you need to practice, and practice. How to practice? Well, there are lots and lots of resources today So you can find lots of resources in the internet for free, and then you can practice it every day. So doing extensive means that you have to do it more and more, and then you have to enjoy it. And of course, you have to understand it. How can you enjoy it without understanding the text? Okay, so you have to enjoy, and then you have to do it more often. And then if you practice a lot, then you're gonna improve your proficiency. Sometimes even without you like without you know. Sometimes you are just like, how could I say this? How could I know this? Okay, without studying it. Sometimes it just kind of unconsciously a part of you. So if you know more, if you learn more, then you might be able to be successful in this IELTS test. So proficiency is important, but proficiency is not the only important part of being successful in this test. But you need also to be familiar with the test. How to know? You have to know what you are going to be tested. So you have to learn. You have to practice listening. What are questions usually appear in listening part, what questions usually appear in reading, and so on. So you have to be familiar so that in the test day, you are not kind of, what do I have to do? What do I have to listen? What do I have to read? So you know what you are going to face for the test day. And the last one, of course, the most important one is pray. Okay, but Prila, sorry.
Okay. Okay, I think it's a very clear explanations. And I still remember when I took an IELTS test, when the speaking sessions, the examiner asked me, what kind of activity do you like to do when you were young? And I directly reply, it means I'm old now. Yeah, it's just one of filler in this webinar.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think due to the price, due to the expensive one, so the popularity of IELTS is what's that? It's most common. The student commonly took TOEFL compared to IELTS, but I think some university, not only in Australia, but in UK or US already what's that? IELTS certificate will be the requirement to to enroll the program in this kind of country. Okay, thank you, Mbak Fa. Next is
Okay, you're welcome.
question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you want to ask questions and select directly which speakers you want to ask. We just limit 3 questions in this time. Okay. Come on, administrator, maybe you can select with who will raise questions. Yulia, yeah. Okay, see. Mute. Hello, Yulia.
Hello.
Okay, you raise your hand.
All right. Thank you
It's
so much for this occasion.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so today I think it is a very wonderful day for me because today I get a lot of information and such wonderful speakers today. Thank you so much, and also for moderator Ibu Prila. And okay, let me ask you, in which part that in speaking or writing, I mean like in fatal mistakes that we make. I mean like when we have a speaking a test, what should not we do?
Okay. In speaking, so you highlight about IELTS. IELTS.
Yes, IELTS test, and also in writing. So both speaking and writing.
Okay.
What should not we do? I mean like a fatal mistakes.
Okay. Okay, I will note it first. So these questions
Alright.
go to Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah ya. Okay.
Yes.
Next.
Okay.
Okay. Next questions. I got Pak Budi Arlius Putra.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Come on. It's
Okay. Thank you for your time.
okay, Pak
The
Budi.
question is for Miss Fa.
Okay.
Okay. I hope you can hear my voice.
Yes, it's
Sure,
very
yes.
clear.
Okay. As I know that you have a very nice experience, I think, when you were in Australia, right? In Aussie.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
I think it is hard to get IELTS score. Even in TOEFL, I did try before, but sometimes in reading it's so tricky. So tricky means like that it's a constraint time. So what about your tips in handling for this stuff? I think so. Please let me know because I need to
Okay.
renewable my score of my TOEFL score. I think. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak
Okay.
Budi. Okay, so all questions goes to Ibu Faizatul Istiqomah. Okay, okay. I will read one question from the chat box. I think most of the participants asking about what is the difference, yeah, among those three kind of tests: TOEIC, TOEFL, and IELTS. Yeah, so every speakers can telling about that. I think it goes to Bu Dino or Bu Rukminingsih. Okay, so there will be three questions. We will answer. Okay, the first question goes to Ibu Faizatul. Are you ready to answer?
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
What was it? Okay. Repeat,
Yulia,
please.
yeah, she's one of my students, alumna. Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
she asked about in some one of part of speaking test, yeah. What kind of mistake that usually we should avoid? Yeah, it's like that, Yulia.
Yes.
Yeah, what kind of mistake that we have to avoid during both speaking and writing session, and how to deal with that? Okay, Pufa, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the questions. Well, in speaking, honestly, when I did my speaking test, I mean, the practice test. So before, uh, okay, I will explain first. So, uh, until now, I have taken IELTS test 3 times, and luckily, I didn't pay at all. So the first test was taken, and the second one was paid by the scholarship. I mean, the Australian was scholarship, and the last one was paid by the Ministry of Religious Affairs Indonesia. And I was also so lucky because in the last IELTS test that I took, I was given scholarship to prepare for the test. And then when I did the preparation for the test, I also had a practice test. And in the practice test, uh, I was given questions by the tutor, and then the tutor also gave me feedback from my performance in speaking test. I mean the prompt test or the like tryout test. And then uh, the tutor said that uh, my speaking is easy to follow. They said that she said that it's easy for me to follow each sentence from you. And then I was just surprised because I didn't arrange my words. I mean, I just tried to speak normally. I just learned to speak naturally. So maybe the experience that I got previously affects or influence the way I speak. So to answer the questions from the, sorry, who is it?
Yulia.
Oh, about Yulia. So yeah. So what do you have to avoid? Of course, you have to avoid thinking too much when you speak, or
Okay.
memorizing some words, because
Okay.
it won't show. Yeah, it will not show your natural English or speaking proficiency. Yeah. So try to speak as natural as possible. And how to do that? Of course, you need to practice. You have to perfect practice. And also for writing, it's the same thing. Yeah. Of course, if you want to be able to write well, you have to read a lot, because when you read, and then you will have the memory inside your brain, and then unconsciously you will be able to write well. And to write well is not easy. So maybe what things that can help you is when you practice, you have to have a list that you have to what is it to say? You have to point out. So you have to focus on. For example, when you have written the text, then you need to look at, say, the vocabulary, and then the spelling, and then the grammar and things like that. So avoid thinking too much in writing, because you will miss the time. So the time is very limited. Maybe that's what I
All
can
right.
say.
Okay, Yulia, do you got the point?
Yes, I got the point, and thank you so much. I think this answer is really helpful for me. Thank you so much, Miss Fauza. Nice to meet you at that time when we have an
My
agenda at
pleasure.
IAIN Ponorogo.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Nice to see you again.
Okay, Yulia, this is the thing that we should underline that when we take a IELTS test, especially speaking, you have to, like Bu Faizatul Istiqomah suggested, that you have to speak naturally
Yeah.
and avoid thinking too much and try to be familiar with the topics. I think that's
All
a
right.
good thing that we should put in our mind. Okay, now let's go to the same
Okay,
thing,
thank you.
still about IELTS. Pak Budi questions. I think he highlighted about reading. Yeah, reading in IELTS is quite different from reading in TOEFL. Yeah, in TOEFL, we just get 5 options, A, B, C, D. Yes, but in
Exactly.
in IELTS we will find yes, no, not given, true, false. That's a kind of a challenging option.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, Mbak Fa. The questions refers to how to improve, how to familiar with reading. Maybe this the thing that Pak Budi want to know, because I think he wants to take an IELTS after this.
Oh, okay.
In reading.
Okay. Thank you for the questions, Pak Budi. So hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions as you wish. And reading, for me, actually, out of 4 skills, reading is the most difficult one. Okay, why the most difficult? Because the questions are so tricky. It's not just true, false, not given. Sometimes you also have to answer in the form of chart.
Yep.
So it's hard. Yeah. So how to deal with it? Uh, first of all, of course, we need to read a lot so that you will be able to improve our vocabulary, because uh, the text in reading part comes from various genres. So it's not just about the area. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Other participants would like to mute. Admin, would you like to? Okay, continue.
Okay, all right, let's continue. Okay, so where were we? So the text in the IELTS is very varied. So it comes from lots of genres. So to improve it, we need to read not just the areas of our interest. So sometimes we also need to read about the popular topics in IELTS reading text. Usually it's about the environment, about health, about jobs, about sport. Okay, so we need to have more knowledge about them. At least we need to improve our vocabulary because, well, vocabulary is also important, but not just vocabulary. We need to also have a critical thinking because sometimes the questions, like what I said, the questions is like a paraphrase of the text. So we need to really understand the sentences in the question and also the sentences in the text because if we have different understanding, so we will not be able to answer it correctly. Well, so maybe what I can say, first we need to improve our vocabulary, and then the second one we need also uh, to be able to read carefully to get the meaning expressed by the author or the writer of the text. And then the last one, okay, for me, because we have to read lots of text. So to avoid sleepy, okay, for me, I need to have supplement. So I need to have vitamin before doing the test. Maybe that's my answer. Hopefully can help.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Fa. Yeah, frankly, I have no
You're
experience
welcome.
to take IELTS test, but I have experience about TOEFL. So I think I'm gonna try to take IELTS test later. Thank you very much, Miss Fa.
Okay, good luck. Okay, you're welcome.
Pak Budi, and you have to experience what's that? A challenging activity when doing an IELTS test. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
The last questions for this session. What is the difference among those three kind of tests? Maybe Budino, you can help us to answer the questions. TOEFL, IELTS, and or Buruk Mini?
Can you repeat the question, sis?
Okay, Budino, yeah. Okay, the question is, what is the difference among those three tests? Three tests, TOEIC, TOEFL, and IELTS.
Okay, I think the most difficult is for me is IELTS. But Fa, I need to join your course about this.
Yeah.
The easiest, I think, TOEIC because this is um, the communication ability, and I think before we start to learn the academic uh, thing, academic tech tests like TOEFL and then IELTS, I think everyone should be able to do the TOEIC test because this is very important for to know your ability in communicating. Yeah, I think the most important thing is to communicate first, and then later we will deal with the academic test. Okay, thank
Okay.
you,
Okay,
Mbak
thank you,
Brila.
Budino. Okay. Uh, According to Budino, yeah, the easiest one is TOEIC test. That's why before you take a TOEFL or IELTS, so it's better for you to take a TOEIC first, yeah, to
Yes.
measure or to determine our ability for communication in English. Okay, so how about TOEFL and IELTS? What is the difference? Maybe Buruk Meningsih, you
Okay.
can say something about IELTS and TOEFL.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bu Prila.
Yes.
Okay, so TOEFL and IELTS, yeah. Last time I explained about the kinds, one of kinds of TOEFL, PBT. It means that it's dealing with a paper quiz. And then the difference, of course, the difference with IELTS and PBT TOEFL because in PBT TOEFL only three kinds: reading, listening, structure and written expressions, and the last is reading. And IELTS consists of four kinds of skills. But for the other kinds of TOEFL, there is IBT. Of course, IBT also has four kinds skills: reading, listening, writing, and reading, writing and speaking. But the difference between IELTS and IBT TOEFL, that IBT TOEFL, the test takers speak in a computer, I think, and then IELTS, of course, face to face. Is that right, Bapak? Yes.
Okay, the last, maybe Mbak Fa can add information about the difference between TOEFL and IELTS.
Okay.
Bu Fa?
Yes. Okay. For me,
Okay.
the main difference is in the text type, I guess, because in TOEIC and TOEFL, you have choices. So you may bring task week, okay, perhaps such as ABCD, but not for IELTS, because in IELTS you have to write the answers. Maybe you'll find multiple choice, but not many. Maybe that's the main difference. And of course the price, but maybe for TOEFL, maybe PBT is cheaper, but other kind of TOEFL may be much more expensive. So yes, but Rila, maybe I just want also to say that I want to say hello to my students, Maharani Kristanti, the winner of quiz.
Okay, yeah.
So she's one of my best students, and also I can see my another student is Mbak Lulu, perhaps. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I can underline that both TOEFL or IELTS, yeah, both TOEFL and IELTS are very recommended. If you want to apply scholarship. Yeah, even in Australia, UK. One of the requirement is you have to show your language certificate, and there will be IELTS or TOEFL. But it will be very beneficial before you take IELTS or TOEFL. You can join TOEIC test. Yeah, I think that's way. And due to the limited of time, we should end this webinar. Thank you for all participants. I think the certificate and the material link has already shared in the chat box. Yeah, you can click directly and the certificate will be sent to your email. Okay. Now let's all the participants to take a picture together. And admin, would you like to turn on the mute? You can mute all. So we just wave our hand together.
Dinyalakan semuanya.
Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow we still have another agenda. So let's take a picture together. Pak Isan, would you like to take it? Or Mbak Zulida, Pak Safran? Take a picture. Okay.
Halo Bu Prila.
Okay. Okay, wait. Wait. Take a picture as well. Okay, next. The repertory slide.
Kirim akunya.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all participants. Don't forget to joining us. Yeah, don't forget to joining us tomorrow. Yeah, still SKP 2 for Arabic webinar. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Buka terus sejak kapan ya?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, terima kasih semua.